Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualized NZ. I am going to do another video on decorating up some of the items that I made during the whole book challenge. So these pockets here were made by I cannot remember. It's one of the later videos towards the end of the month. I only watched it, I think, last Friday, like 4 days ago, because I'm recording this on Monday. But I watched 3 or 4 videos in the day and I can't remember who made these, so I do apologize. But if you're interested to see the original, then head to the playlist on the whole book challenge, and it's towards the end of the month. So I do apologize to the lady who made them, but I just simply can't keep it all straight in my head. So, but I really love these pockets. They're just a little variation on a standard pocket, and sometimes it's those little differences that just excite our eye because they're just that little bit different. So like I did last time, I'm going to make one so you can see how it's made, and I am choosing to use a different book page. Now I've got a big one and then a big one. So to give you an idea, this is the book size of the book page that I used to make these, which is your standard condensed Reader's Digest book page. So this one you can see is quite a bit bigger, and then this one again, yeah, I think it's twice the size. And I thought, let's just see what it's like using a bigger page. Now this one is very thin. It's a encyclopedia page. This one is quite thicker. Yeah, it's thicker than the Reader's Digest, but still not super heavy. So first of all, I'm just going to trim up the edges, which I didn't do on these pockets. They've got kind of a bit of a ragged edge, which is fine. It's not super ragged. It's just textured, I guess I would call it. But these ones I'm just going to tidy up a little bit. Oops, line it up so I can see the grid lines would be a good thing to do. So I can actually see that it's straight. It doesn't need to be super straight, like just, oops, and I just ruined it there. Okay, I'm going to come in further. Obviously my knife needs changing. I was doing some stencil cutting of some heavy plastic, and I think that's just kind of dulled my blade a bit. So I'll just be a bit more careful in how I approach the cutting. And it will probably be worse on this bigger page because it's thinner paper. So I need to be very careful. And I'm going to have to turn my mat sideways because it's too tall for me to see the grid lines. I think it's a really good idea actually to turn your mat around every now and then, because you get a lot of cut marks going this way and they start to add up, and eventually I'm going to have to replace this mat. But sometimes if you turn it sideways like this, then you're cutting in a different direction and you get a little bit more life out of it. You don't find yourself getting stuck in the same groove. Because I fully expect in some spots that I could very well cut right through the cutting mat one day, because I'm just going over and over the same spot over time. I don't know if that has ever happened or whether it would happen, but it kind of makes me feel like it would eventually get to that point. Okay, so I've prepared those pages. I'm going to take the smaller one first and fold it in half. It's very easy, just fold it in half. And this pocket is easy, it's not a complicated one. Just a few very simple folds and you're done. Right, so now take this bit, I'm trying to remember as I go, and fold the top triangles, top down into triangles. Now you can meet them in the middle if you like. If I'm just going to make a mark in the middle so I know sort of where I'm folding to. But you don't have to. You can fold them over as much as you like. If you look at these two that I made originally, Oops, I'm off the fingers and thumbs. This has quite a wide blunt end, so the triangles didn't meet. This one, they almost met, so it's more pointy, is I guess what you would say. So I'm going to make these close-ish, but it doesn't matter. You can fold them in however you like, just try and keep them levelish to about the same amount. Looks okay. So far so good. And then fold this bit down as much as you like. Again, it doesn't matter, you can fold it right down to the bottom so it meets on the bottom. You can have it up a bit, but I would say, out of preference, I would fold it to the bottom. And there's a reason for this, because it's not just a pocket. So we've got our pocket here and the back here, and you've also, this is too wide so I can't use that to demonstrate, I'll just use my ruler. You've also got this little belly band here. Okay, so if you don't fold it deep enough, then you're going to have very little room to slide something in behind, whereas if you take it right to the bottom, then you've got room for a tag or some tickets or something like that. Okay, so that's my advice, is to fold it a good way. And on a bigger page, no, I still won't get this card in there, but I almost would get something that size in there. So you're just giving yourself a bit more to work with. Okay, so from here I'm just going to glue down these flaps with glue stick, and I've grabbed out a new glue stick for this. So fortunately, because the video I recorded this morning, I forgot to grab out a new one, and it was down to the plastic and it wasn't working all that well, but I got there. But definitely needed one out for this video. Right, so just gluing those triangle flaps down. Okay, there we go. Just giving it a moment to dry a little bit before I fold it, the flap back down. Now, on these ones, I went ahead and glued them, but I did think that it would be easier to decorate before you glue it down. Okay, so these are fine because they're hidden. Just going to give that a fold now so I know where I'm working to. So we've got this part that is visible. Now you could leave it as book page, or you could cover it with some decorative paper, and I'm thinking that I might like to cover it. Right, so I've got some papers here, and I'm thinking this one that's on the top of my bag might be fun. It's a little like combi van or something, or there's a woman on a motor scooter, but I quite like this little sort of retro hippie-ish sort of vibe little van, so I'm going to use that, and it might just suit my Playful Days journal. I'm thinking I wasn't going to set out to do one for the Playful Days journal, but why not? Right, I'm just trying to gauge where to tear it. About there, I think. And this is very, very thin paper. It was a page out of a magazine designed for crafters, but it's too thin to use as a journal page or anything, and quite tears very easily. Like I had put one in my personal journal, and I found every time I handled it, it would tear a little bit just with turning a page over. So not ideal for journal page. Right, so about there. So I'm just lining it up, and then I'm just going to snip those corners in line-ish with the angle of the pocket. So just close enough is fine. excuse me, I've got a little tickle in my throat. Okay, so that's going to go under there, and I'm not worried that some of that's going to be hidden. Like, that's perfectly fine. This little bit creased and damaged, and it's actually torn as well, so good to get it down on something where it won't tear anymore, hopefully. Just being careful where I run the glue stick over the spot where it's torn so it doesn't catch and tear anymore. Oh, I don't know why my throat's so tickly. Maybe it's because it's my second video. And they're going, no, you've talked too much already. Right, so just going to pop that down there. Oh, excuse me. Just take a wee drink and see if that helps. Right. Oh, that's super cute. That's really cute. Right, I'm going to ink it. You knew that was coming, didn't you? I just know you know. And definitely ink. If you would like to ink before you glue. It's so much easier. Right, there we go. There's that part. I'm wondering about covering this part and what I might have to do that with. Do I want to go with this lady on the bike, since it's kind of fits, doesn't it? Similar colours, same style. So maybe we'll grab a bit of this. So I'm just going to work a bit back to front for a second. Oops, I'm going to chop her off at the hips by the look of it. That's all right. I'm sure she didn't feel a thing. Right. So this is a little bit trickier doing the triangle, but it's all right. Just trying to grab the corner of it there. And the other side. Got a little bit down the bottom that I need to fix up by the look of it, but we'll get there. And it hasn't gone down into the V, and I'm okay with that. Oops, line it up on the right place would help. Right, so I've just got a little bit here where it doesn't tear so well at the pointy edge of the triangle. So I'm just going to snip that off. And pop that there. So we've got the central lady. I mean, you could worry about that if you don't like that. Well, choose different paper, you know, choose something where it doesn't matter. But I'm quite okay with that. It's the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter which side I choose. And you could always cover it with washi tape, you know, put a little bit of washi tape or something if you really were worried about something like that. Or even a bit of lace or something would be nice. A bit of ribbon, lots of options, but I don't mind that at all. Okay, so that's the bottom bit. Now the top bit. We have options with the top bit. So when the lady who made these did the video, I think the intention was that this is a pocket behind as well. Now I don't like using single thickness book page, So what I would actually do is turn down the top and glue that down, just so it's a bit more sturdy when you're putting things into the pocket, that it's not going to tear or break. Okay, so that's one option. You could just decorate it up as a nice background to your pocket. So something goes in front, and then you've got your belly band here, and then this is just decorative. Or you could cover this with writing paper and make it a journaling spot, and then something sits in front of it. So just choose whichever way you want to deal with it. There's lots of ways you can deal with it. This one I am going to turn down and make it a pocket. Now if you didn't have much room up here, then you can just grab another bit of paper and glue a strip on the back, and that will also strengthen it perfectly well. But since I've got the space and this blank area here, which is a bit, not so exciting, then I'm just going to turn that over and make it a nice strong top for my pocket. So I'm going to glue that down. I hope the light is not too bright on the side of the desk here, because I'm filming in the afternoon with the afternoon sun coming in the doors beside me. So I'm hoping it's not too bright for you over to the side there. If it is, if it comes through too bright, do let me know, and then I will look at ways I might be able to alter that in future. But I'm really enjoying having the curtains open and the sun coming in, because it's been super cold today. We had such beautiful weather, and then the last few days have just been cold. And I don't like it. I want the sun and the warmth. Right, so, oops, just smearing ink in places. Right, I'm thinking I also want to cover that, but I'm thinking I might do it with writing paper, just for a little bit different from the rest of it. I'm going to grab out some of this yummy packaging tape paper. Just tear off a bit of that. I want it about that wide. Very crinkly, noisy. And again, I'm choosing to do this before I glue the pocket shut. You can, this isn't so bad to do after you've glued it down. Easier than this bottom bit with the triangles and things. But it's still, if you know what you want to do ahead of time, then doing this before you glue it is, yeah, it's just easier. Right, and which side's shiny? That's the shiny side, so pop that down. And yep, like that. I do like this paper. I wish I knew what it came out of, so I could be on the lookout for more. It's just really pretty colour. And I love the fact that it's all crinkled and been scrunched up. It's got added texture without me trying to give it texture. I mean, most of it gets smoothed out when you glue it down, but you still get little wrinkles, and you can still see that it was once scrunched. There we go. So it's now ready to glue. So we grab our different glue, our wet glue of whatever type you like. I'm using tacky glue. Just getting off the dried glue off the top of the nozzle. Right, so for this one you can glue straight up the sides. You can also do this little angle at the top if you like. I just do up the sides. Oops, it's obviously warm because it's busy coming out of my bottle. Right, just run it along the sides there. And this is all going to spurt out the sides because I've got it right on the edge. So cloth at the ready to mop up the excess. There we go, wasn't too bad. Right, there we go. So that's that bit. And then this little bit, you just want a little dot of glue right on the tip there. And glue that down. And then we've got our little belly band in behind there. So super cute, ready to go into a journal. And we've got a pocket behind. Now you could do a thumb notch if you like. I may go ahead and do that when I go to put it in a journal, or not. Or you could glue it straight down if you want, and not, you know, decide not to have it as a pocket when you glue it down onto a page. Then we've got our pocket here, and then we've got our little belly band here, which this card's too big, so I'm not going to force it in where the glue's wet. Right, so super cute. And how easy was that? So I'm going to do one more. I won't decorate this one, I don't think. How are we going for time? Oh, I can't see the screen, it's too bright. But I want to see how this paper goes, because it is quite thin and it's bigger, so I want to see what difference that makes as well. Obviously a bigger pocket, and it might be a good paper to actually glue together and then make it into a pocket. I don't know, let's find out. So I'm starting at the bottom this time, just because. So I'm going to find my middle point. I just find it easier to find a middle point when I'm folding the corners into triangles. So I know where not to go over. Yeah. And there. So these ones I've got a little bit further apart than on the last one I made. Gosh, tongue-tied. Here's an interesting little fact for you. I am actually technically tongue-tied. The little membrane thing connection between the bottom of your mouth and your tongue, if it's too tight when you're born, the doctors will snip it, and you know, as a baby you just don't know anything about it. Well, mine was never done, so I am literally tongue-tied. There's certain things I cannot do, like I can't poke my tongue out properly, which my husband finds hilarious. Which way am I doing this? Ah, I folded the triangles on the inside instead of the outside. So that's a different look again. Okay, well, let's do it this way. Okay, see what difference it makes. Yeah, so he finds it hilarious that I can't poke my tongue out properly. I also struggle to roll R's, like certain languages roll their R's. And there's a region here in New Zealand where they roll their R's, and I find it extremely difficult to do. Sometimes I can get it, but most often I can't. So our language, Maori language, national language of New Zealand, I find very difficult to get, because I can't physically get my tongue to do the sounds that are necessary. So there's a fun fact for you. I am tongue-tied. So I'm not sure why it wasn't done at the time. It's just, you know, one of those things. Doesn't bother me. I mean, I poke my tongue out in the only way I can, and you know, if that's weird to people, that's fine. It's unique. It's me. They get the point if I'm poking my tongue out. It still conveys the either the cheekiness or the annoyance, or, you know, depending on the case of why I'm poking my tongue out. But yeah, it sort of just comes out as a blob rather than a proper pointy tongue, which sounds disgusting. But it's just me, just the way I am. Right, there we go. So we've got a slightly different look on this one, because I folded the triangles to the inside instead of the outside. So I've glued those down. You could actually leave one open, which I can't do now because I've glued them down. But you could leave one side open and have it as a little tuck on the front as well. That would be cute, depending whether you cover this, of course, or not. Where's my card gone? So this one has got quite a deep belly band, so I can glue that and still fit something like this card, or a tag that's this wide but longer would fit nicely in behind there. So that's really cool. Does it fit on a page? That's the next question. And I suspect it's not going to. That's all right. We can always trim it down. We could also wrap it around. I'll just crease it for a second here. You could also turn it into a wraparound, so either in your signature in the spine and sew it in, and then have it as a little pocket here and a little tuck here, and same here, little tuck and little pocket. Or you could do it on the outside of the page, wrap around, and then have it as a tuck here, a pocket here, and then a little tuck in here. So many ideas. Like, that's what I love about journaling and making journals and things. You can take something and just do it so many different ways. I'm going to fold down this top again, just because I do want it a bit shorter. Not sure whether I'd use it as a pocket. Maybe. I think I'd be tempted to back it with some more paper just to make it more sturdy. But it is too wide. Oh, here's another idea. Gosh, the ideas are flying. Okay, pop it on your page that way, and that way it would fit. So you could have a pocket here, and then a vertical belly band there. Oh, I like that. I really like that. I'm not going to cut this down. I think that would work perfectly well. And because I've folded this side under, I will make that the pocket there. But you could also, if you strengthen the top of this by gluing some paper underneath on the top, then you could actually make it into a pocket that way, and then that way, and then that way. Ah, so many options. I'm really excited by that. How fun. That is so fun. Right. So I'm not going to decorate this one up. I'm just going to glue this flap down, give it some ink so you can kind of see a bit better how it's sort of coming together, and then I'll decorate it up at some point in the future. Yep, so I'm not going to glue this point down either, just in case, because I suspect I'll decorate it under there as well. So I'll just make it easier on myself and not glue it down yet. And then you could also leave one of these open, like just decorate the two halves, and maybe even have both open so that you've got two little tucks. I don't know whether that would work, whether they would clash, you know, trying to get things in and out of them. But just exploring possibilities. I love how many different ways I've just like found of using this one little idea. That's super cool. So there we go. Just so you can, I'm just doing this so you can sort of see. And then we'll call this a video. Oops. I do love encyclopedias. They're so wonderful to use and have such great illustrations, whether it's a children's one or an adult's one. They're super fun, and they're not popular now because everything's on the internet. So if you get your hands on a set of encyclopedias, it's like treasure. Okay, so there we've got a big one, which I'm going to use when I do use it. I'm going to use on my page like that. So that's super fun. And then we've got this one that I decorated up. So we've got some journaling space and a little tuck here, pocket, or belly band there, a pocket, and then the option of having that as a pocket or just glued down, or it could even be left open on the side for a pocket. Actually, does that fit on a page? I didn't check that. Yes, that fits on a page. Always good to check whether it fits on a page, but it does, so that's good. So there's that one, and then we've got these two that I made during the challenge during October, which are ready to decorate up as well. So I'm getting lots and lots of ephemera ready to go. It's so super cool. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Go ahead, make some pockets and decorate them up and pop them in your journals. It was a fun video. I enjoyed this one. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.